All right, this is take number two. I didn't have the switch on the damn mic. So I'm testing out this stuff, still learning this stuff. I actually swap out the microphone, got a different one. I had another one just turns on. I didn't like that. So it just turns on when you put power to it. This one turns on with a switch, but what did I learn? I forget about the damn switch. So here I am, take two. These last few weeks, one of the things that I thought was really, really interesting is what's happening in the world with the National Guard going into cities, cleaning stuff up. One of them being Memphis, Tennessee. So you've got the governor, you've got the mayor, you've got the police. They're working alongside the National Guard to get this taken care of. That's a big deal for real estate investors. You guys are not thinking about this. If you are and you're making it political in any respect, like stop. Think about that. One of the worst, most highest crime rate cities in the United States, if not the number one, is now having national attention. Having the federal government getting involved to clean that up and take care of that. What do you think that's going to do? That's definitely going to help property values. Some of those areas that were rougher could be that much better and help you as a real estate investor. Guys, this is something you got to be looking at. You got to be thinking about. It could very well be something. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be. It could be. You got to wrap your own head around that. You got to feel good about that yourself. That being said, guys, there's a deal sitting right here in front of my face. I've talked about other deals. There's one I'm staring at. I got a guy right now who has to get out of this. He's got to move into something else. Other demands hit him. He's got a house right now. Right now, it's worth, according to the appraisal, you have to do your own research, right? I'll plug you into it if you want it. It's worth about 200 grand, 200 to 202,000. So let's just round down to 200. That means, it's good. You can get a loan on that for 160,000. That's 80%. So if you structured it right, the price on this is 165,000 from him, 12,000 to fix it up, get the renovation costs in. That's 177,000. You pay 177,000 for a $200,000 asset, and it could be worth a little bit more than that. I'm going to round down. Well, you put in 177 to get that, fix what's left to get on it. Maybe it's a hard money loan, and then we come in and refinance that at 160,000. That's 160. That's the 80% loan to value. That means you've left in the deal $24,309. That's what you're in on this. So with that, let's look at the amortization. You put a tenant in there for 30 years, they're going to pay off that $160,000 loan, correct? Take 160, divide it by 30. What do you have? $5,333. I've done this math for you many times. On the exact same amount, interestingly enough, that $5,333 per year averaged over 30 years is equivalent to 21.94% of the $24,309 you put in the deal. Now that's a rounded number, right? That's guessing on the costs, and that's what the loan amount would be, or the amount you have in it after you put 177,000 into the property and get a loan of 160. So because of that, you're making 21.94% on your money. There's also the appreciation. Let's say you're only making 2% on your money, just 2%. That property appreciating 2% alone will generate somewhere in the range of $4,000 per year in appreciation. Now it's a compound. That's just $4,000 the first year, based on 2% of 200,000. Then it's 204,000. You got 2% of 204, right? Then it's 208 plus. It's going to compound. I'm going on the minimum end. That 4,000 is equivalent to 16.45% of your investment of $24,309. That's awesome. Now let's say you thought, well, man, that's a lot of extra work to pay cash and do all these things. I'd rather just have somebody else do it. I'll buy it turnkey. Well, if you buy it turnkey, somebody else fixing it all up, you're going to pay full boat, 200 grand, $200,000 purchase price, 20% down. That's 40,000 down. That's way more than the 17,000 you had in there, right? Then you got closing costs of $7,309. We're matching up the cost estimate. That's $47,309 all in on the deal. That's a vast difference from the $24,309. Look at that. That's a $23,000 swing. Yep, $23,000 more in the deal if you do it turnkey. What does that mean? So if you got still the same amortization, because 20% down gives you a $160,000 loan, that means you're at $5,333 a year, amortized over 30 years, which is equivalent to 11.27% return on your investment. Look at the difference, 11.27 versus 21.94. Now, let's say the appreciation of 2% still holds true. That's only 8.46% of your investment of 40,000, which is 20% down, plus the cost versus 16.45. Just your amortization and your appreciation buying from this guy. If you like it, you have to get the inspection. You got to get the appraisal. You got to make sure it's right. You don't just do it off the numbers. Doing off the numbers asinine. Never just look at a pro forma and say, I'm going to buy the house because of pro forma. That's completely setting you up for being taken advantage of. But if this does work, you're looking at 21.94% on your amortization, 16.45 on your appreciation. You're literally looking at 38% growth because it's 21.94 plus 16.45. Look at that, guys. That's significant. Significant growth on your investment before cash flow and before tax benefits. You are killing it with this deal. It's worth looking at. I also mentioned Florida deals. There's more of those coming online. People are buying brand new build houses. They're getting $700 a month cash flow before they're paying their property manager. Where are you finding that? You got to call me and we'll get you hooked up. We got to get you plugged into these sources because there's deals everywhere. And if you're sitting here waiting for quantitative easing to kick in again, or the federal government to drop the rates, or let's see what happens when the Fed comes back into session, or when the government comes back into working, you're setting yourself up. I'm sorry, but that's not a good move. That's not a good move. You need to close on the deals now. Okay, let's look at the market. Where are we at? Right. News is still talking about the rates went down. I still get calls from people saying, hey, the rates just went down. The news said this. Guys, look at this. They went down September 8th. September 8th was where really, and then it had another upward day on September 15th. Where are we at right now? We're on October 17th. Over a month ago, they went down. They've been going up since then. Now, they went down from here. They'll say, oh, the rates went down again. They went down from September 26th, but not a lot. The peak we had on rates, as far as the best we've had in the last, it's probably been since April of 2024. So it's been over a year and 5 months. The best rates we had were just in the last month, September 15th. That's it. Outside of that, when was the last time we had rates this good? September 2024. Look at this cycle, guys. Look at this. Look at this cycle. We're swinging it up here. Now we're going to end up this possibly going back down, pushing below this block. This block, I talk about this block all the time. If you want to understand the block, you can get a hold of me, aaronchapman.com or info@aaronchapman.com. Let's schedule some time to talk about it. Understand what you're getting into. Understand the houses you're buying. Understand what steps you need to do to make sure you're buying the correct asset. Never just buy it based on numbers. The numbers I show here are awesome, but let me show you what you got to do to make sure it's awesome. Don't just go off the numbers. You're setting yourself up for somebody to take advantage of you. When somebody says just buy the house because it looks good, you're making them successful, potentially making you unsuccessful. We need to talk first. You need to get the lending side set up first. You need to look at the infinite banking. You got to look at your entity structure, all those things well in advance of purchasing the home. If you're buying just to buy, you're setting, you could put yourself at risk. That doesn't mean you can't still be successful. It's just risky. Let's talk before you do any of those things. Let me plug you into the best people would be. Don't just go run off into Memphis, Tennessee and just go look at who's got the best deal. Those really good deals could actually put you in really big jeopardy. I've worked with everybody in Tennessee. I'm going to say everybody, most of them. I know who the players are. I know who's not the players. Don't put yourself in a position, just go running off and getting into something. Let's talk first. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk again on Tuesday.